John Calipari is bigger than the game. I'm Chris Adams, and before I get started on my video, guys, can you please hit the like button, follow me on TikTok, and subscribe to me over on YouTube. John Calipari is bigger than the game. If he wasn't, you wouldn't have even clicked on the video. And I'm just being honest. So I was in the gym, and a guy brought an article over to me on his phone. And this guy said, John Calipari's bigger than sports. And he said, do you agree with that? And I was like, yeah. He said, is Calipari bigger than the University of Kentucky? I said, not only is Calipari bigger than the University of Kentucky, Calipari's bigger than college basketball. Yes, he's bigger than sports. There's a handful of athletes, coaches that are bigger than sports, and he's one of them, whether you like it or not. He's one of the most, you can Google most hated college basketball coaches. He's number one. He's number one. And people, I'm not saying this to piss anybody off. A lot of you, I would say almost all of you already know this, but there's going to be a lot of you who try to act like he's not or anything like that. Calipari's ranked number one in most hated coaches. And nobody on that list is not a hell of a coach that's on there. You don't hate somebody that's average. Like, nobody hates Tubby Smith. You see what I'm saying? When Bettino first left, people hated Bettino. That's because he's great. They hate Cal because he's great. Calipari's box office. Wherever he goes, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about the school. It's about the man. Wherever he goes is box office. Must-see TV. Highest-rated college basketball game of the year, Arkansas and Kentucky. That happens because John Calipari. Kentucky just played at Texas A&M, and they were talking about it on KSR. The baseball game down the street had more attendance than the basketball game last night. Nobody cares about Kentucky's brand anymore. Last night, on Tuesday night, 14 of 16 SEC teams played on Tuesday night. We played at 7 o'clock just like everybody else. Who the SEC schedules their long standalone game this week on a Wednesday night? John Calipari against Texas. Nobody cares about Texas. It's all about John Calipari. Standalone game. And everybody, BBN, will be keeping up with Arkansas tonight because of John Calipari. If Calipari didn't coach there, nobody in this state would care about it. He's the most polarizing figure. There's people who, I personally know people who didn't go out on a Saturday night last week, and they're posting on Facebook. And I'm talking about many, several people. They're sitting at home on a Saturday night and they're watching John Calipari coach. There's plenty of other options on a Saturday night on TV. There was a lot more basketball games on. There was more sports on. You've got Steph Curry that was on another channel. People watch Calipari. They watch Calipari to root against him. Why is it fun to root against Calipari? Because he's so damn good. And that's just a fact. It's fact. When Mark Pope leaves, when Mark Pope's time is over at Kentucky, he'll never get a big-time coaching job. And wherever he goes will not play a factor, just like Tubby Smith. Okay? These are good guys. They're average coaches. They're always going to be average. Okay? If Mark Pope wasn't at Kentucky, nobody would care about him. Nobody would even know. Most people didn't even know who Mark Pope was before he got the Kentucky job. Everybody knows who Calipari is. They knew who he was at UMass. He was box office when he went to the NBA. He came back to Memphis, he was box office. Came back to Kentucky. Number one players in the country, recruiting classes, NBA players. The man has a 30 for 30 after him. A 30 for 30. When people will say to me, I wasn't a Cal guy or I don't like Calipari, that's a badge of honor. I know you don't, brother. I know you don't. John Calipari gets mentioned on social media an average of 16,000 times per day. I went back through my last 5 videos in which I did not mention Calipari. My last 5 videos that I did not mention Calipari, and this was lengthy. I was bored, but I counted. In all platforms, I had 234 comments with the name Calipari in it. And I did not even mention the man. That's power. That's power you can't buy. So is John Calipari bigger than the game? Absolutely. He's bigger than the University of Kentucky. He is. We're fading. Nobody cares about the Kentucky brand anymore outside of us. Nobody cares. Nobody hates Kentucky anymore. We're nothing. We're unranked. We're uninteresting. No pro players. We're just a team. We're just out there. Nobody cares about the Kentucky brand anymore outside of us. I mean, they don't. It's the truth. When Calipari was here, everybody's watching us. Everybody's watching Kentucky. Why? Because they hated Kentucky. They rooted against us. Everybody rooted against us. Nobody cares anymore because we're not a threat. We're not a threat anymore. With Calipari, they always knew he's going to get the best players. Kentucky's going to be in national championship contention. John Calipari is bigger than the game, and he always will be, always has. So it's not to, this video is not to piss anybody off. It's just to make the point. All of you, you're going to watch this video because I mentioned the name Calipari. You're going to come up with the reasons. There's some people that will admit it, and hats off to them. You don't have to admit it. We already know. I already know. Nobody's mentioning Tubby Smith in the comments. There's not many that mentions Rick Pitino. Calipari's power and control over Big Blue Nation, over the Kentucky fans, is unlike anything we've ever seen in sports. And that's fact. Like, John Calipari gets mentioned more than Mark Pope by Kentucky fans. By Kentucky fans, his name is mentioned more than Mark Pope. To this day. To this day.
That's beautiful.
It's the truth.
I know.
You can Google all this stuff. That's power. That's power you can't buy. I had a man yesterday that went through Calipari's last 12 seasons in detail, and he hates him. You don't do that for somebody you hate unless if he's not bigger. Trust me when I'm telling you, nobody will care about Mark Pope when he leaves. Nobody will care. He'll probably never be heard from again. We will keep up with him a little bit because he was here. But outside of Kentucky, people would say, where did that coach ever go? Everybody knows where Calipari is at every minute of the day. He's so much bigger than sports. Calipari, Hall of Famer, national champion, owns the minds of so many basketball fans out there. They hate him because he's so damn good.